good morning. Yes, I'm wearing flannel in Florida. It's starting to get chilly. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something that it comes up in How It Works, which we read at every meeting. Or at least we do. I don't know if you guys do. You probably do, because I've been to meetings all over the country. The part of that gets me almost every time is where it says, there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Well, is he lost? Why do I need to find him? See, I was raised in a Christian religion. In fact, I was exposed to several different belief systems, but mostly Christian. And I had this vision of God up in the clouds with the long white beard and, holding a staff of some kind. And, so I always thought, well, God's up there. But then I also heard that God is everywhere. And I thought, well, how could God be everywhere, Now, these are all conceptions that I developed growing up, not just as a child, but, throughout the years of growing up. I don't know, I had this picture of God being very judgmental. Not so much a loving God, like open arms, come in to me, that kind of thing, but more like, what did you do this time? When it came time for me to find God, I thought, well, he's either up in the clouds or he's everywhere. How do I find him? Well, it's funny that all this religious stuff that I had done throughout my life, and mostly being forced to by my parents, that never really showed me where God was. When I was taught to pray, I would close my eyes and bow my head. I don't know, none of it made any sense to me. Well, I think it's ironic that the program of Alcoholics Anonymous helped me to find God. And I didn't find him up in the clouds. I didn't find him in a church. You know where I found God? I found God deep within myself. He was there the whole time. Looking back, I truly believe that it was God himself that led me to AA. He allowed all of the things that had happened in my life, he had allowed those things to happen so that I would eventually find AA. I would eventually find the willingness to turn my will and my life over to him. So God led me to AA, and then AA led me to God. See, there's something very freeing about the term as we understood him. God as I understand him. Well, for me, the word God conjured up all kinds of visions, if you will. A mental picture that was uninviting. And so when I saw the word God in the steps, I did notice that it said, as we understood him. But I didn't understand him. That understanding didn't come about overnight. That's one of those areas that I thought I knew something when I got here. Turns out I didn't. The God of my understanding became my understanding of God after going through the steps. The steps is what developed my understanding of God. And I realized that God had been there with me all along. He didn't need to be found. He was right there the whole time. What a revelation. What a revelation. Just the fact that I was still alive and well meant that God had been there the whole time. He hadn't abandoned me. I had abandoned him. If you've ever heard the footprints in the sand, and here I am, leaving footprints in the sand. Where were you, God? There's only one set of footprints. Well, that's when I was carrying you. God was looking out for me all those times that I had turned my back on Him. What a revelation. God's been there the whole time. And He still is. The book Alcoholics Anonymous said that the main purpose of this book is to help you find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. Well, it did its job. But I had to become open. I couldn't close my mind shut to the idea of a power greater than myself. I had to realize that what I had was a spiritual problem. And you can't solve a spiritual problem with a physical answer. I had to find a power greater than myself and solve my spiritual problem with a spiritual answer, and that was God. The fact that where I found God was deep within myself, that fact alone tells me that it's my own personal God. And my understanding of that power greater than myself, which I choose to call God, that understanding is still not complete. I don't believe that it ever will be. Maybe on the day that I die. But as of right now, my understanding of God is still incomplete. But I have to say that what I do know of this God, I'm pretty happy about. He has taken very good care of me. Not sure if you guys can hear that or not, but I'm near the Air Force Base and they're playing Revelry. That means it's 7:30. Time for everybody to get up. I've already been here for like an hour. Anyway, that understanding of God is growing every single day. I thank God for AA. I thank God for all the many blessings in my life. I used to blame God for my problems. God and other people. The only thing good that ever happened in my life was because I had worked so hard to make it happen. And anything bad was because of God and other people. Well, through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I realized that anything good that ever happened in my life was because of God and other people. And anything bad that ever happened in my life was because I had worked so hard to make that happen. I certainly hope that each and every one of you will find that power greater than yourself residing within yourself, and that God of your understanding will be a process of understanding. It doesn't just happen. That understanding is something that is part of our spiritual growth. But I hope that each and every one of you have a God of your understanding that will solve your problem. Try not to have a closed mind when it comes to spiritual things, because it's way above any of us. Thanks again for watching. Hey, I'll see you on the next video. And in the meantime, try to gain a little bit better understanding of that power greater than yourself. Bye-bye.